In this video, I'm going to talk about 5 important study tips which will help you to score 95% and above marks in the CBSE Class 12 board examination. The first tip which I have is the syllabus and resources have to be defined because it's very important to understand you're writing the board examination. So you must have a syllabus in which you can prepare for the board examination according to the syllabus. So you should actually have the knowledge of the syllabus, complete knowledge of each and every topic which is going to be asked in the board examination. So that's very important. At the same time, you must know where you're going to learn, from where, what are the resources you're going to refer in order to prepare for the board examination. So you must clearly know the syllabus, that is what exactly is going to be asked for the exam, and where you're going to study them, where you're going to learn them, where you're going to solve questions. So that is very important. For the CBSE board examination, the textbook which is followed is the NCERT textbook, and you must only prescribe NCERT textbook first. First and foremost, you must completely finish off NCERT textbook because you must know the nook and corner of the NCERT textbook, because the marking scheme which the board examiners will have during correcting your answer scripts will be answers which are copied directly from the NCERT textbook. So if you don't write answers according to the NCERT textbook, then you won't get marks. So you must be very careful about how you're going to write the answers and make sure that you know the syllabus completely, and also you know exactly where you're going to study from. It might be NCERT textbook, it might be reference books, it might be any book. But you must know from where you're going to learn the concepts so that you'll be able to understand them and solve a lot of questions so that you'll be able to prepare for the board examination. The second tip which I have is the study environment have to be prepared. So you must understand you're studying for a long time. In a day, you will be spending about 6 hours every day on studying. So if the environment where you live and study is not suitable for studying, then you will not be able to retain the information you learn after you learn something, right? For example, you study for 6 hours, but the end of 6 hours, you don't know nothing, then what's the use of studying for 6 hours? Everything is gone waste. It's the same as not even studying at all. So you must really understand how you're going to spend your time, and the environment where you live has to be convincing for studying, right? It must be conducive. So if it's not, then you have to go to an environment where you will be studying at any cost. So I recommend you to study in a library where people are also studying. Otherwise, you just have to find out a place in your home where you can study so that you'll be able to actually concentrate, and whatever you study, you will be able to retain them after you study. The third tip which I have is revision is very important, because you may study something, but the problem with the human mind is it tends to forget. And what will you do if you forget? You will not remember the concept. So you have to recollect the concepts again, what you have studied. You have to revisit the concept. That is revision. You must actually do at least 3 to 5 times of revision before you write the actual board examination. This is my personal recommendation, because if you want to score 95% of marks and above, then you have to revise the concepts. Otherwise, you will not actually remember during the examination hall, right? Because you have 3 hours, and this 3 hours only decides the final marks in your mark statement. So if you don't perform during these 3 hours, then everything is waste. 1 year of preparation is waste. So I recommend you to actually revise the concepts, every concept, whatever subject you're studying, mathematics, physics, chemistry, computer science, English, whatever it might be. You just have to revise every subject, otherwise you will forget it. The fourth tip which I have is that the handwriting is important. Your handwriting is very important for getting good marks in the board examination. The problem is a lot of people are very intelligent. They know the concepts, but they're not able to express the concept in writing. That's very important, because your board examination is not an oral exam where you can speak. You have to write it down. So if you don't have good handwriting, if you cannot present whatever is there here on paper, then it will be very difficult for you to get good marks. So I request you to find out how you can improve your handwriting. Even if you don't know anything, if you write something in good handwriting, you will still get good marks. So you have to make sure that you include diagrams, you include equations, formulas, you include the relevant steps then you will be able to get good marks. And you have to write in a way where the board examiner will be able to understand what you have written. So make sure to underline whatever the important points. Make sure to underline them, and also make sure not to have any sort of scribblings or unwanted writing anywhere on the paper. Make sure that your board examination answer booklet is clean. You must actually do that. If your answer script is clean and presentable, if your answers are in good handwriting, then definitely you will get good marks. And also, I request you to write answers according to the marking scheme given by the CBSE board. So every question paper will have a marking scheme. And you must know this marking scheme is only given by the CBSE board to the examiners who will be evaluating your papers. So if you don't write according to the marking scheme, and this marking scheme will contain the answers from the NCERT textbook. So you have to make sure that you revise all the important concepts from the NCERT textbook and write every word according to the NCERT textbook, not according to your own language or not according to the reference book, because if you have the same words from the NCERT textbook, then you will have good marks. Because most of the students, what the mistake is they do is that they write in their own sentences. That is not at all okay if you want to score good marks. So if you really want to score good marks, I request you to learn every concept from the NCERT textbook and also write as per the words which are given in the NCERT textbook, because the examiners will have the marking scheme which has the answers which are taken from the NCERT textbook. And I just want to warn you that your CBSE marks are going to be permanent. It's not temporary, right? This mark which will be useful for the rest of your life. Not only for getting job, but also even after that, your 10th, 12th, and your degree. It's very important, and you must understand that. So if you have all the efforts completely on this board examination, and if you score good marks, then it will be very useful for the rest of your life, because this marks is going to be permanent. You cannot do anything about it after you get the results. The fifth and the last tip which I have is to solve previous year question papers and sample question papers and give mock tests at home, because ultimately you are going to write an exam, right? And this exam will contain most questions which are similar to previous year questions. If you don't have the feeling of the exam, if you don't have the practice of writing the exam before you take the actual exam, then how will you be able to get that confidence to face the exam? So if you want to get the full confidence blueprint of how the examination will be conducted, how the questions will be asked, then you have to refer to the previous year questions, and you have to solve the previous year question papers of the last 5 years. Okay, recent 5 years question papers you have to solve, and also the sample question papers of the latest sample question paper by the CBSE board, which will be available in the CBSE website, which is cbse.nic.in. And also you must give mock tests at home, because mock test is you're sitting at one place for 3 hours at home, and then you're writing the board examination by yourself, and you're correcting the answers by yourself and finding out your weaknesses and strengths. So this is very important. Before you actually go and face the actual exam, you should simulate the actual exam in your home itself. Then only you'll be able to score good marks, because that's very important. A lot of students make this mistake. They actually revise, they do everything. They do a lot of revision, 3 to 5 times of revision. They solve previous year question papers, but ultimately they're not able to manage their time in the exam, because why? They didn't practice writing the exam in their home itself before they write the actual exam. So you have to practice writing the exam in the home itself before you actually go forward and write the actual exam. So this is my very, very important, okay? And for all these previous year questions, sample questions, and taking the test at home, I highly recommend this book, Arihant Chapterwise-Topicwise question booklet for many subjects. You will get this book in Amazon or Flipkart, any online store. You will be able to get this book in the marketplace as well. So I request you to grab this book, Arihant Chapterwise-Topicwise booklet. This has a bunch of different questions from reference books, from previous year question papers, from sample question papers, and also it will be very useful for you while practicing solving different types of questions, because sometimes you must find out your weak areas, weak topics because topics are very important. If you don't understand a particular topic, you will not be able to solve the question. So find out those topics and solve these bunch of questions given in this book, because this book contains all the different chapters and topics and the questions which are given as per the topic. So for each and every topic, there will be a bunch of questions. Solve those questions, then you will be able to score good marks in the board examination, because now you not only solve the previous year questions, not only solve the higher order thinking skills questions which will come from reference books, but also you have solved the sample question paper, which is the latest question paper, which gives you the actual feel of the examination, and also you have given mock tests at home. Now you can prepare and you can go forward and take the exam confidently and score 95% of marks and above in the CBSE board. So this is one of the best ways by which you can do that. I advise my students not only to listen to whatever I'm saying, but actually do that. Do the work so that you will get the results. If you simply gather a lot of information and store it here, there's no use. Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So if you're really going to want results in your life, then you have to apply whatever you have learned from this video.